Whew. Well, that's the most unique cell phone gimbal I've ever seen, the Snoppa M1. What's up, everybody? I'm the Everyday Dad. If I can figure it out, you can figure it out. I love gimbals. There's no better way for me to put it. We're just gonna put that out front. I love gimbals, and I'm always trying to find the best budget and the cheapest gimbals you can find. And we're looking at another one today, the Snoppa M1. Now, all cell phone gimbals do roughly the same thing. Most traditional cell phone gimbals have roughly the same design. They've got the same handle, and they all achieve their 3 axes of stabilization, basically the same. But let's crack open the box. And here's a quick refresher on gimbals in case you don't know what they do. When you free hold a camera, we, as imperfect mounts, introduce a lot of shake into the end video. You can edit some of this out in post-production. However, my preferred method, like we already mentioned, is to use a motorized 3-axis gimbal to stabilize your camera. So while your hand is shaking, the camera itself is staying very still. Now, when it comes to Snoppa basically said, hey, we see what normal cell phone gimbals look like. Let's try to make something a little differently. This is a DJI Osmo Mobile. It's got the very standard way of holding the phone and stabilizing the footage, whereas the Snoppa does it a little bit different. I love stabilized footage. Seriously, I cannot stand it when my camera's shaking. I'm always looking for stabilized cameras, gimbals, all sorts of stuff. I want my footage to be as stable as possible. And if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I've got a crusade on the shake. Wow. I'm coming up with a lot of stuff like right in front of the camera now. That's what it's called from now on, the crusade against the shake. My biggest issue is I'm an iPhone user, and normal cell phone gimbals and iPhones do not get along. Please stop telling me there's a magic app that will let my iPhone work with a normal gimbal. It doesn't exist, so please don't leave me a comment. Please don't. So it's basically in the steps. Each time you take a step, the optical stabilization in the iPhone kicks in, and as the gimbal is stabilizing it, it causes a warp or jello in the picture. Now, this may not be too big of a deal at the end of the day for you, but once I started looking at it, I see it everywhere every time I use the gimbal. I'm really hoping that Snoppa's design will somehow, magically, I guess, mitigate the issues I'm having with every other cell phone gimbal I've used before. Now let's head out and see how it looks. Ha! So now that we're back, what are my initial impressions of the Snoppa M1? At first, to be honest, I didn't think I'd like the design of this gimbal. I've been using cell phone gimbals for some months now. I've got a pretty clear sense of what a cell phone gimbal should look like, and this really, I didn't think I was gonna like this. I'm actually finding myself quite liking this setup. I really like the easy ability to start shooting vertically. You just take it, hold it for a second, and it goes. That's really easy to use. And something else I like is If you don't like exactly how your shot's framed up, you can just move it and you can exactly pick out how you want your framing to go. You don't need to use a joystick to get there. I like the quick setup that does not take a lot of balancing. You just follow the picture that's on the app, you set your phone in it, and it's balanced perfectly. You don't have to mess around with it. I really like that. And a big one, the tripod mount is on the bottom. You'd think that would be common sense. However, my DJI Osmo Mobile, the tripod mount's on the side. And you gotta buy their mount to make it really work well, so good on you, Snoppa. However, there are some things that I really don't like about this gimbal also. Things I don't like. I don't like not having a joystick. While yes, you can change up and move your shot without needing a joystick, one of the main things I use gimbals for when I'm out filming is I like being able to do pans and tilts, but sometimes I don't want the gimbal to move, I just want to be able to use a joystick to pan and tilt. You can't do that here because part of the axis of stability is you can't even twist it to do it. So you gotta move, and I don't necessarily like that. I also didn't like the learning curve it took to get it going in the first place. Once you figure it out, it works, you know, fine, I've figured it out, but it was really confusing to get set up the first time. That didn't come with any instructions. I know the first time I'm complaining about that. But if you're gonna have a complicated gimbal to get working, you should probably give some instructions. I was able to figure out by watching some other videos, and so it's not terrible. But like I said, if you're gonna make it complicated, provide instructions. And number 3, and this is kind of a big one, I get pinched all the time using this thing, so when you shut it, like right like there, the instructions say you're supposed to tap it, but sometimes it doesn't like line up properly, and so you can't get it, so you gotta like, I'm gonna pinch myself right now. So you gotta shut it. Okay, I didn't do it there, but so you gotta shut it, and you get pinched all the time. I don't know if you can see that, but I've been pinched like 6 times today. Technology shouldn't be this painful. So what, right? So should you get a Snoppa M1 cell phone gimbal? Not yet. All the other cell phone gimbals I've used so far, the DJI Osmo Mobile, the Zhiyun Smooth Q, they all have a lot more smart features than this gimbal, and they all are roughly the same price. Now, the Snoppa is supposed to be getting these smart features here in a future update, but it's not out yet. So I would recommend waiting until those features come out, and then you'll get a much better gimbal for it. Well, if you like this video, go ahead and share it on your favorite social media site. Also, click that subscribe button down below. We do cheapest tech reviews every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Well, hey, I'm the Everyday Dad, and if I can figure out that technology's not supposed to hurt, it's not supposed to hurt this much, you can figure it out. Thanks for watching.